Hello, sit back and sip on the transfer tea with me, Melissa Reddy, where we discuss the big transfer talking points with the people at the heart of covering the stories. Today I have Liverpool reporters, Mo and David. Let's start with Trent. Do you think if he had to come out and say one way or the other what his intention is, that would help matters? Because if he says, I do want to explore a new challenge, I do want to join Real Madrid, the criticism will be, how dare you do that while Liverpool are in with a shot of winning the title and the Champions League?
It's a difficult one because I've had lots of conversations with people who've said exactly that. You just want him to be honest. You just want him to say, if he'd come out and say, look, I'm a young man, I believe that there's plenty out there in the world I want to experience, I want to see what it's like playing for another one of the world's biggest clubs, then people would understand and respect that. However, I have my doubts as to whether or not everybody would be quite so understanding. And you're right, I think there's the element of him being the local boy. Everybody here understands the idea that he's living our dream. Everyone who lives in Liverpool is a Liverpool fan would love to be in exactly his position. So a lot of them don't understand the idea that there could be something better than this. But then I do think that once you are a professional footballer and you have peers who play at other teams, obviously when you meet up with England, then you do start to understand, well, maybe there is different things out there. There's other things that he could achieve. So I do understand the difference between how we or on the outside perceive it and how they on the inside perceive it. But in terms of him speaking out, and I understand his reasoning behind the idea of trying to keep a dignified silence and say, look, I don't want this played out in public, but come on, man. Yeah. Like, there's an element of naivety to that as well, yeah. The world that we live in. And the fact is that it's not just the world that we live in, it's the club that he's dealing with. Yeah. Like, Real Madrid are the biggest circus going. Yeah. So the idea that he could just do it in silence and then come to May and be like, okay, this is my decision, it just was never really reality.
I do think it's kind of unfair on him that he can't just run it quietly and make his decision. But I agree, I kind of think it's at a point where you think maybe it would be best to come out and say, and there will always be that element of the supporter base who will say, well, why would you ever want to do that? You are, as you say, living our dream, you're doing everything we would want to do. But I also think there's another significant part of the fan base that would say, you're a local lad, you've come through from the academy and won absolutely everything there is to win. You've given it everything, you've been fantastic for us. And the thing we can't offer is living in Spain and the lifestyle change and playing for Real Madrid. It's an unbelievable life experience. So I think there is a significant part of the fan base that would accept that. And I agree, yes, while there is a part that won't, I still think that clarity would be helpful because I just think, as you say, it's the circus, it's everything else. It's now out of his control whether this is played out behind closed doors because we know about the bids going in. We know about the fact that Real Madrid are desperate and they're very confident that they'll sign him. So unfortunately, I think he's probably going to have to come out and say either way. And that, by the way, would mean making a decision, which I don't get the vibe he has actually made his decision yet, which is an interesting part of it.
Right, moving on to Mo Salah. There seems to be an annoyance that he keeps talking about his situation, but surely he's allowed to. I think he's made it so abundantly clear that he wants to stay at Liverpool, that he loves the club, that he's not considered anything else. And so the reason he keeps talking, this is a man who does not actually like to talk, is because he wants a resolution.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to leverage his relationship with fans, isn't he, to put pressure on the club. And I know it's putting certain people's noses out of joint and maybe not comfortable with that, maybe preferring to take a similar tack to Virgil van Dijk. But I think it's just that he loves it. He loves Liverpool. He wants to be at Liverpool, and therefore he feels that the best way of going about ensuring that happens is to pile pressure on through the media or through his social media posts. And I just don't think you can kind of begrudge him that. I mean, yes, I'm sure from a Liverpool fan perspective, maybe the Van Dijk approach is slightly better in terms of he keeps it quieter. He's not talking about it as much. I'm sure that would probably be the preference, but this guy is just an absolute phenom, and he has been since the day he walked in the door. And so, you've got different personalities in football, you've got different personalities in life, and you've got to kind of let that manifest itself sometimes. You've got to let Mo express himself, and I think that's what he's doing. And at the end of the day, he's doing it in a good way because the only thing he wants is to stay at Liverpool, and so that has to be seen as a positive, I think.